22 years old, shoulder-length blonde hair, a course schedule full of computer science, and a pair of online names that travel faster than his passport: Xenon and Xenoma. On most nights, he tweaks Xbox dashboards and bends game physics until Halo feels like a new planet. On this morning, he just wants a car bumper. The dealership won't ship to Canada, so he routes the order to a friend's place in Wilmington and drives south with his dad, the kind of errand that ends with burgers and a handshake. At the border, the officer scans their passports, smiles, and then pauses at a word on his screen. What's Xenon? The air turns thin. Two figures in dark uniforms move in, the doors click open, and a weekend trip becomes handcuffs on cold wrists. David Pokora doesn't know it yet, but he's not walking into a warehouse. He's walking into a story that started years earlier, in bedrooms lit by CRT glow, where kids learned how to make machines obey and forgot that doors swing both ways. The spark that lit the underground. It began like most revolutions, with an object too fun to ignore. The original Xbox lands in 2001, a slab of plastic and promise, green glow like a reactor core. David falls for Halo, then falls harder for the console's insides. He joins a swelling crowd of tinkerers who boot Linux, stream music, and make the big black box do tricks it was never taught. Then, Xbox 360 arrives, security tightens. To poke the new beast, you need a development kit, a console meant only for verified studios. Somehow, thousands end up at a recycling yard. Somehow, they're resold. David buys several, flips a few, and meets Justin May, known online as MTW, a smooth-talking American with a taste for shortcuts. With a dev kit in hand, PartnerNet opens, a closed garden where studios test pre-release builds. Screenshots of unreleased worlds leak into forums, reputations grow, grades don't. Across the world, other names blink online. In Perth, a 14-year-old with long hair and a taste for adrenaline signs up as Super Die Dylan Wheeler, suspended for hacking his school and unfazed by the lesson. In New Jersey, a hardware-mad 20-something named Sonic wires his room with solder fumes and oscilloscopes, taking apart consoles the way other people take apart pens. They are not an organization, they are gravity. PartnerNet is their comet trail. At first, it's curiosity, then it's currency. David writes Call of Duty cheats and sells God mode in half-hour slices, money piling in faster than sleep, $100 per 30 minutes, up to $8,000 a day. Activision sends letters. David shrugs. It's just games, he tells himself. It's not like we're breaking into corporate networks. That sentence won't age well. A late-night message changes everything. A spreadsheet of usernames and passwords scraped from a forum Epic Games runs. Dylan tries one email password pair on a Gmail account and finds a second key tucked inside. Admin 060606, a phrase that shouldn't unlock anything and somehow unlocks everything. Doors open. Curiosity crosses a line, not with a bang, but with a login. Months of quiet rummaging pay off. Deep in Epic servers, they find a shaky, beautiful secret. An early build of Gears of War 3, source code and all. David calls Sonad, who masks his connection and spends a night dragging hundreds of gigabytes through a wire, labeling the Blu-rays wedding videos before mailing them north. The game isn't ready. Missing textures, broken seams, but the leak is very real. Headlines bloom. Epic calls the FBI. David panics and asks Justin to help encrypt drives. Dylan keeps walking through the house while agents jiggle the doorknob, logging in daily, discovering a stray USB on the network that lists the company's crown jewel credentials. He roams employee PCs, toggles webcams, watches meetings like a ghost in the glass. What begins as talent curdles into temptation. With one unlocked account after another, the circle expands. Microsoft, Bungie, Blizzard, Valve, EA. Not statecraft, not profit, just the thrill of seeing tomorrow's games today and the rush of saying we did it. They don't sell most of it, they show it. They invite friends over, load builds no one else has, and bask. Every time the circle widens, someone new wants in. Two fresh faces arrive, Austin Alcala, 16, shy and tall, AA monkey online, a quiet kid who learns fast. Nathan LaRue, 18, homeschooled in Maryland, anime freak, a dreamer who scripts fake FIFA coins and imagines landing a job in games. Together, they drift from play to plunder, their targets sliding further from the world that raised them. AMD, Intel, Disney, Warner Brothers, Google. In a late summer scan of zombie studios, Austin and Nathan find a tunnel into a U.S. military server hosting AH-64D Apache simulation files, a defense contract build not meant to breathe outside. They hesitate, then pull. The boundary doesn't just blur, it evaporates. At the same time, David and Dylan crack a locked drawer at Microsoft and find Durango, the code name for a console still under wraps. Circuit board photos, case designs, source. They order parts, ship them to Nathan's house, and watch him assemble a working Xbox One prototype on a table meant for homework. It boots. It needs software. Somebody suggests selling. A buyer in the Seychelles wires $5,000. Justin volunteers to handle shipping. The package leaves Bowie and never arrives. Dylan posts photos anyway and throws the prototype onto eBay. Bids surge past $20,000 before Microsoft kills the listing. Then, Super DAE goes on interviews, face and name and swagger on full display, like gasoline on hot coils. Inside the group, patience snaps. David cuts ties. The companies tighten nets, and the FBI stops watching and starts knocking. The trap springs. It begins with Nathan. Agents raid the house, find hardware, and fold him into a system he never imagined seeing from the inside. Sonad tries to vanish into normal life. The warrant finds him anyway. He sends a copy of the paperwork to friends. Dylan posts agent names online and blurts threats he'll regret for years. Australia arrests him in February 2013. Austin and Justin disappear into side hustles. FIFA coins, return fraud, anything that spins dollars out of air. David stays quiet in Canada until a phone call tempts him toward a new kind of heat. An 18-year-old Armin the Cyber claims he can walk into Microsoft, lift real Durango prototypes, and walk back out if the crew trades him credentials and cash. It sounds insane until it isn't. Armin puts on a company sweater, clones an access card, and glides into a building he's wandered at night like a starstruck fan. He fills a backpack with 3 prototypes, mails 2 to David and Austin, keeps one on his shelf, then gets a call from Microsoft with the job offer he always wanted. Cameras end the dream, so do cuffs. In January 2014, 4 FBI agents knock on Austin's door. In March, as a border officer quirks an eyebrow at the word Xenon, David walks into a quiet room and out in chains. The indictments land like a library, chat logs, voice captures, exact timestamps from the first epic breach onward. A name repeats through the pages, Person A from Wilmington, Delaware, a ghost who helped encrypt drives, brokered sales to a buyer called Xbox Dev Guy, and delivered a homemade Durango to the Bureau. Wilmington rings a bell. The crew had only ever known one person from there. The cases split across oceans. In the United States, David, Sonad, Austin, and Nathan face identity theft, fraud, and conspiracy to steal millions in intellectual property. David cooperates, maps exactly how kids outmaneuvered billion-dollar walls, and serves 18 months before turning those same hands toward defense. Austin takes probation, helps with a separate FIFA case, and later runs security at a startup. Sonad also serves 18 months, then endures the long iron fog of probation without computers. Depression drags him under. A relapse sends him back for 9 more months before he finally surfaces, clean and living with family, a decade older in 2 years. Nathan is different. He is gentle, the least involved, and terrified. Allowed home with an ankle monitor while awaiting sentencing, he panics, pays a friend for a ride to the border, bolts across a bridge, injures himself, survives, and receives 2 years. Before release, he comes out as Holly. A year later, the weight crushes what's left. The loss echoes through the chats like a bell that never stops ringing. In Australia, Dylan pleads not guilty, fights in court for years, and slips abroad on a second passport. His mother serves 18 months for allegedly helping her son flee. He denies the story. He opens a security firm in the UK, talks on stages about lessons learned, and then, in 2020, closes shop. The trail cools to ash. That leaves Justin, the man from Wilmington, the one who bragged, hustled, and always seemed to slide through cracks. In 2017, police finally arrest him, seizing a new BMW and nearly $440,000 in cash. In 2021, a judge tallies fraud, fencing, tax evasion, and money laundering, then reads almost 8 years and $4 million in fines aloud while the room listens to the end of a long rumor. What the wires remember. In public, the story is easy to flatten. Prodigies turned thieves, a morality play about crime and code. Up close, it's messier, a string of kids who taught themselves to fly and only later looked down. They didn't work for governments. They rarely chased cash. They were driven by access, by the high of seeing tomorrow, by the feeling of peeking behind a curtain and realizing the adults weren't watching it as closely as they claimed. The cost comes due anyway. Courtrooms don't grade on intent. 18 months is still 18 months. 2 years is still 2 years. Some rebuild, some vanish. Some don't survive the fall. Ask the people who were there what they learned, and the answers rhyme. That curiosity needs a brake pedal. That reputation is a currency that spends faster than you can earn it back. That there is a line between bending rules and breaking trust. And if you cross it with a smile, the bill will still arrive. Ask the wires what they remember, and they'll tell you a truer thing. A handful of teenagers once walked through the front doors of the biggest companies on earth because the locks were old and the guardians were tired. Inside, they didn't find monsters. They found build servers with funny names, emails with passwords that should never have worked, and a prototype console that ran a boot logo like a sunrise. Somewhere, David finishes a shift hardening systems he once slipped past, hair shorter now, eyes older. Somewhere, a drive labeled wedding video sits in a dusty box. Somewhere, a headline about Gears of War 3 pops up in a nostalgia thread, and a dozen aging handles all feel the same jolt. Not pride, not exactly regret, the complicated electricity of remembering when the future was just a login away. They called themselves Xbox Underground as a joke, a name to laugh about if they ever wound up in the same cell. The joke didn't land, but the name stuck. Not because they were masterminds, because they were young, brilliant, and reckless enough to believe doors were meant to open if you pressed hard enough. And for a while, they were right.